I loved Will's coming out scene, and let me explain why. Will has always been seen as being more vulnerable, more sensitive, and he is different from the rest of the guys. Even in, I think, season 2, they were talking about girls, and he says he doesn't really like girls. We all need a sense of belonging, and I think it was really big for Will to come out, especially toward the end, because even though it did not move the plot, a lot of people who were watching were probably able to relate. And I think that we also forget that this was set in the 80s. Before the 80s, in like maybe the early 70s or definitely the 60s, it was a diagnosis to be gay. There was a whole diagnosis in the DSM, and it was treated as if it were a mental illness. Now, even though the 80s it was no longer in the DSM, it does not mean that people did not still associate it as being a problem, or that people who were gay needed to be fixed. So it's so much more. Like, people are thinking about being gay in 2025, it's not that big of a deal, but in the 80s it was huge. And again, it did not move the plot, but I know it moved a lot of people, and I think that's most important. Everybody just wants to feel like they are still safe around the people that they love, no matter how they show up. And he said Vecna was going to use this as his biggest fear, right? And what is worse than, to me, I think the worst thing that anybody can really, really experience is isolation and rejection. That's why it's still used as punishment in prison. Isolation, separating yourself from everyone else, because human connection is just everything.